It is time to repot these blue javas. I've had blue javas that I put in the yard last year, but unfortunately those didn't survive the winter. And these that sit in pots, I had bought these at the end of the last year with the intent of putting them in the ground this spring. But when the others didn't make it, I decided I needed a different plan. Every week I told myself I would plant them, but I just wasn't able to commit to a spot in my yard with a plan of what I would do different to keep them alive over the winter. With them facing another winter inside the house, it's time to give them some more space. In this first one, I'm putting this old Musa Zabrina that's been suffering from neglect the last couple of months. I didn't actually order this banana. I had it given to me when I had ordered some Musa Sikimensis, and I put them in the ground, or some of them in the ground last year. None of them survived the winter, and I really don't have a desire to keep ornamental bananas inside my house for the winter when I've got so many varieties that will actually produce fruit that spend the winter indoors. So this goes into the pot. Eventually, one of these blue javas is going to feed off of that. I figured that's the most noble death I could give the banana. It's either this or the yard waste bin, so I figured this was better. I'm using a mix of some random dirt from my front yard. There's some grass clumps in here, a weed or two, but it's just sod and dirt that I'm digging out of the front. I've also added some perlite in here, mixing that into the mix, and some potting soil as well. This is just some cheapo Home Depot potting soil. As I mix the different bags and the front yard dirt together, I'm also adding in a little sprinkle of banana fuel fertilizer, mixing that all up by hand here. Now, you want to be a little bit careful here. I'm being what looks to be a little bit reckless and grabbing these bananas by the stem and picking it up with the weight of the pot unsupported and pulling down on the plant. These are very light, and I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to have any problems, but you want to be very careful when you do that, because I have separated plants in the past just by gravity pulling on the pot and the root ball and ripping that bottom off. So do as I say, not as I do here. I had to save a few different spiders in the process. Sometimes they got into the pots, didn't want to bury them alive. Got to pull them out so they can eat more bad bugs that'll eat your plants. Don't forget to separate your roots here a little bit. You don't have to go nuts and shred the thing to pieces. Be gentle, but also be firm. Separate the roots, or you might have problems with the root ball not being able to expand later on. I want to fill in this pot and get the top of the old soil of the existing banana just below the top of the new pot. And when I'm done with the first one and check it, make sure everything is good, I'll go ahead and do the rest of them now. Originally, I was thinking of putting the smaller one in a red pot here. After looking at it, looking at the roots, I decided a 15-gallon pot's going to be better. That's a little bit taller, same size diameter. It's just going to give it more space and allow it to do a little bit better without me having to repot it again anytime soon. While the red pot looks better, the black is going to be easier and better for the plant. Towards the end, I ran out of dirt and perlite. I don't have time to go get more perlite and had to come up with a little bit of a compromise. I took some extra dirt from the front yard. I also took some weed and grass clippings that I had from cutting the front the other day, mixed all that with some of the fresh potting soil that I pulled out of the pots, and that gave me enough dirt to fill in the rest. I'm getting that tamped down. Not too hard, but just smoothing it out here. And then to give them just a little bit more of a finished look, I'm putting in a little bit of bark on the top of each of the pots. From here, it's cleaning up. These blue javas will go inside for the winter, and I will think about planting them again next spring once I come up with that alternate plan for keeping them alive during the winter. That's it for this one. Thanks. Happy growing.